Hey y'all, last tutorial of today, Essie asked how one might make a silhouette out of an individual if you wanted to place little kind of images in the back of them and kind of create a faded look. So I'm going to show you that right here. It should be pretty easy, a couple steps, but anyway, we'll walk through it right now. So first thing you want to do, of course, is find a picture that you can draw a silhouette from. So I'm going to open up this picture, nice picture, good clarity overall, a little noisy, but that's okay when you're creating a silhouette. So I'm going to copy that background, and actually I'm going to add a layer, and in this layer I'm actually going to make it black. So I'm going to go Edit, Fill, and that's just because I want the person to kind of fade into the background. That's going to help out a lot with making the silhouette a little bit easier to make. Notice you don't see that black background because, again, on the top layer is this person. Then my next move is really just to select the person. So I'm going to go up to my quick selection tool, and I'm going to try to select this person as well as possible because we want to draw a silhouette from it. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to zoom in. That always helps when we're selecting. I'm going to use my tool again, and I'm going to select the leg here. It's a little bit tricky on this one because he has green shoes, which always is a little bit tricky to select, but it's actually working out pretty well, as you can see. Alright, get the football here, the wrist. I accidentally overdid it, so I can use Alt to get rid of that area that's selected. Because especially on a silhouette, it kind of matters, right? You need to make sure that you have every area selected. Now for the helmet, in this case, I'm not going to fret the helmet for these tutorial purposes, but if I were doing this for my sports poster, I would actually take the time to go in there with the lasso tool and cut this out really precisely up here. But again, this is just for a tutorial, not for my poster, so anyway, I'm not going to do that whole thing. Okay, so now I have the person selected that I want to turn into a silhouette. So what I want to do now is I'm going to actually do Control J, which is going to take my selection and put it on the next layer. So now, if I click off this, I have this image all by itself, okay, which is nice, up on layer 2. And I'm going to call this actually my, I'm going to call it quarterback, QB 8, it looks like, because that's his number. All right, I'll actually want to put him in the middle of my poster. Let's imagine this is my poster. So I'm going to move him right in the middle like this. I think that looks a lot more dynamic. And it's a lot bigger, obviously, which is cool. So I resize it using Control T. That gives me the resizing brackets. Holding down Shift keeps it the same proportions as I move it. All right, now here's where the silhouette comes in. So I have my person. I could just paint over the person. I could totally do that. It would be very okay, but I'm not going to suggest that. And I'm going to show you why. If I just painted over him, if I hold down Control and left click on this layer, it reselects him. And if I just paint it over with black, let's say, which I could totally do, and it creates that silhouette. The problem is, first of all, on a black, background, it kind of fades in, right? And then the other problem is I've actually literally painted over the picture, and so I can't really do anything else with it. So I want to not do that, and instead I'm going to create a new layer that I can fill with that black. So I'm going to create another one of him by doing Control J, and now I have these two layers, and I'm going to call this one Silhouette. I'm going to spell it wrong, probably. Okay, Silhouette. Okay, now that I have these two, watch what I can do. So on this one above, I'm going to paint it all black. I'm going to do Control, click, Control left click to select him again. I'm going to use my black here, and I'm going to go dark as possible. And I'm going to paint that all in. Now you might say, well, didn't that just do the exact same thing as last time? And it did. And I'm going to actually make my background layer here a little bit lighter so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to fill, I'm going to go Edit, Fill. I have to deselect him. Now I'm on this layer and I'm going to call it background. But I'm going to make this like a dark black, a dark gray, but not totally black. So we'll go like, I don't know, let's do a little bit of maybe a Jesuit kind of green, a darker green. That's kind of fun. Okay, we're going to say okay. All right, I like that. So now I have that silhouette, which is cool. You can see it there. It looks pretty good, I think. Obviously, I missed a couple spots, and that's something you'd want to fix if you were working with this. But now what's cool is because I have both of these different layers over here, what I can do, of course, which you've learned a million times now, is I can add a layer mask to that, and then using black to reveal, I can drop my opacity down, and then I can just bring in some subtle details. Because on a silhouette, it's cool if it's all black, right? But it's also cool if you want to bring in some minor detailing, like maybe the Jesuit, maybe his hand, you know, so I don't want to bring in too much. I still want to keep it a silhouette, but I do want to bring in some of those subtle details because ultimately, I believe what Essie wants to do with this is she's going to overlay some pictures inside of that silhouette, which is pretty cool. So by keeping it somewhat black here, you can end up putting in those images within it, and it can create kind of a cool effect. So anyway, that's one way to create a silhouette. To go from there, you could do a lot of different things. So you can move it around still, you can edit it. If you don't like what you did here with the silhouette, I can always get rid of that. I can change colors on it. So let's say I want to add some gold, for instance. It's tough to get gold because gold isn't really a color as much as an effect. But we'll go like this. Yeah, let's just go straight up yellow. Okay, and then watch, I could actually color it a little bit. I'm going to keep my opacity low. And oops, I need to reselect him by doing Control and click. And then I can just kind of like paint on some yellow. I don't know if I like that, but it's kind of interesting anyway. I'm actually going to change that back to black. I don't like the legs, but I do like the helmet. That was kind of neat. So anyway, you can play with that from there. That's the basic concept. Pretty easy to make a silhouette out of any figure. You still, of course, always have your background here in case you want to redo it. But now I have this kind of interesting silhouette look. I hope that helps. Try it out if you like it. Otherwise, maybe it'll work for some kind of future assignment. That's all.